I'm going to be discussing chakras, also known as the second set of energetic lungs. And when we look at chakras, think of where you feel your emotions in your body. Each chakra carries a certain emotion, that which you feel. It is where you feel the point of energy, that which you are currently aligned in complete resonance with. And the thing is, each chakra also represents a sin. Because when you use something, you lose another thing. And so, for example, if you were to use your root chakra, you lose love. If you use the second chakra, you lose trust. And now you can see that you start to understand the meaning behind each chakra just by kind of aligning the points, right? But how does that impact your potential power as a human? At full resonance, you're completely active as a neural network. And as a neural network, we obey on frequencies. Just like nerves sending energy or electricity between nerve cells, we send electricity or energy to each other through something known as frequency or resonance, an exchange of energy. And depending on the emotions you feel during a conversation, your body language changes. And this second set of lungs was the true fundamental nature behind the very first language that which humans knew how to communicate. Body language. And through body language, when you look at the expressions we now use as we speak vocally, it gets to a point where you can literally get trapped into different conversations. Something called boundaries, which a lot of people deal with anxiety because anxiety is a form of a psychosis. Anxiety is the beginning of the development of something known as schizophrenia. And schizophrenia is something you develop when you have too high neural activity. It doesn't come back down. But you can learn to mitigate it. And the thing is, as an example, let me use myself. Because at the highest point of my resonance, I had also broken my back and fractured my skull. Anytime that injury occurs to the neural network itself, and you might see that in yourself now as well, anytime there is an injury connected, it is because there's a specific point that doesn't function properly in the chakra. And you might say, well, that's all a load of baloney. And yet in your own self, you do feel it. You can kind of understand that each time you've been injured, a thought has crossed your mind. The idea of the first medicine was to find out where in your mind was the injury caused and where on your body did it place itself. And when you start to understand that there's different parts deeper into the human experience, you begin to see now that there's actually something greater, a higher power. And when you connect to that, you feel enlightened, you could say. You get moments of great resonance. That is what is known as psychosis. It is a moment of great resonance. But unfortunately, I think there's a big stigma behind people that have an ability to have a higher resonance, because we've put it in a negative light. We associate it with things that mean something bad. And now you can start to see that from each chakra comes a different vocal resonance as well. And each vocal resonance in itself can become a personality the more you spend time in that particular chakra. And when you spend time at the top chakra, it's as much as you illuminate, you also are just as blind by your own light. Let's put it that way. But there's many things that happen in times of resonance. You might have great ideas. You might have great thoughts. But all these thoughts are not yours unless if you catch them and vocalize them. You choose what you get to say in the end, because the ultimate act of free will is saying, are you going to speak that out into the world at this very moment? It can bring great treasures or rejection. But the idea is not to be accepted. It's to keep putting out a word or a message that there's something much deeper in the human experience than we remember it to be. And the moment you start understanding some of these things, you begin to develop and arise your consciousness as once. An act of being reborn. And so, let's get healing.